Another one. Another one. Another one. San Diego and its soccer club got that DJ Khaled energy going on right now. Another win at home. Another great night at Snapdragon Stadium. And another beautiful day in sunny San Diego. Can it get better than this? I don't think it can. And we have so many more home games to play. And so we need to keep bringing the good vibes. We need to keep bringing that energy, and we need to keep piling up those home wins and wins while we're away. Let's just keep winning all day, every day. I will say the Seattle fans were really polite, and the environment was not as raucous as the LAFC game. So it did feel like something was just a little bit missing in the environment. It was that op energy. It just was not there last night. So again, big shout out to LAFC fans for bringing that energy. Big shout out to the good San Diego fans that weren't getting in fights, but we're giving it back to them. So that, to me, is just a huge part of the game, when two teams can just go at each other and the fans can just give it to each other, and then just, have a great night of soccer, have a great night of competition. That's what it's all about. So that was a little bit missing. Also, I was looking across the way. I sit in section 112. So I was looking across the way to like section 122 and the club section C120s. And there were a lot of empty seats. I don't like seeing that. I want to, try to sell out this stadium as much as humanly possible. And if it did sell out, a lot of people then just did not attend. So we need to get everyone rallying up. We need to get everyone together, make sure we're selling out this stadium, because it's too fun. It's too good of a time to not support our team and give back to our team as much as they're giving to us right now. So I want to see us pack the stadium, and hopefully we can. Let's support our squad. Let's support San Diego FC. They winning, but let's get to it, because SDFC got the win last night. And I'm not big on calling my own number, but I called this game last night. I really called this game last night. If y'all watched my pre-match episode that I put out earlier this week, I said Seattle was lacking in confidence in the final third, and guess what? They didn't score a goal, even though they had more shots than San Diego FC. I said their back line doesn't hold their line well. They don't move in unison as one in a good line. They get into shambles, every now and then. And guess what? We put up 3 goals on 4 shots on goal. So high quality shots, and they gave us some opportunities. And man, we made it look good last night. I also wanted to see our wingers just dominate the defense of Seattle, and they sure did, because Seattle defenders will be going to therapy sessions tomorrow because so much trauma was inflicted on them last night from Dreer and Chucky. Oh yeah, I also predicted that scoreline, 3-0. Catch all that pre-episode on the Penalty Kick podcast. We bring the real good, strong analysis. This isn't cannon fodder. This isn't, fake stuff. I watch the video. I do the analysis. I bring the real to the real. And San Diego is all about that real. So let's bring it to them. But I'm going to throw up some, first half and full game stats, just so you can kind of see how this game really, really turned out. And again, kind of mentioning that pre-game episode, I mentioned that Seattle's stats were kind of mid-table, and they actually had some really good passing accuracy stats as well. So they weren't a team that we should sleep on, and I'm glad we really did not sleep on this team. But as you see on the stats, it looked like an even game. If you look at the stats, hey, maybe even Seattle won because, hey, this is on paper what it looks like. But the game is not played on paper, and points don't lie. Seattle came into this game as 12th in the West, and we showed them on the field that there are levels to the game. And it wasn't just levels of we're a better team than them. Again, they can kind of match up well, at least statistically, with us. And, the pundits pick them to be a really good team in the West. But the levels that I'm speaking about, levels in finishing quality, levels in style of play, levels of just raw talent in players. Are you going to pick anyone on Seattle's team over Chucky Lozano? No. Are you going to pick anyone on Seattle's team over Luca De La Torre? No. Are you going to pick anyone on Seattle's team over Dreer? No. So there were levels to this game, and we showed off. So the stats don't tell the levels of the game. It doesn't always pass the eye test. I love stats because it gives us a lot of good insight. But what happens on the field and on the pitch, even off the pitch during training sessions, matters so much more. The statistics only tell a part of the story, and these statistics did not tell the story of the game. So let's get into the, game recap and talk about how it really just all went down. Right from the first minute, you could tell we wanted this game more. We were hustling. We had intensity. We were driving the ball right at Seattle. And guess what? In the first 90 seconds of the game off a short corner, Chucky gets the ball and he acts like he's going to run towards the top of the box. And then he cuts it back as he does run towards the top of the box. He sauced two defenders. Two defenders were going up top, and he just drove to the end line. And then he passes a ball on the ground through all these Seattle defenders. Again, their defense was in shambles. They don't hold their line well. And then it gets to Sverkov, our center defensive midfielder. He takes one touch, and the next touch is a shot to the bottom right corner. In the second minute, we are up 1-0 San Diego. I will say Seattle had a really, really good chance to make it a 1-1 game early on, and this was in the 5th minute. Two players that I mentioned for Seattle to watch out for, Rothrock and Rusnak, they really linked up well on our right side, so where Loffelson is playing defense, and Loffelson got caught in between the two players as they were linking up, so he was a little bit lost, a little bit in no man's land. And then Rusnak had a really good shot that just went to the outside of the post. It was only a couple inches away from outside that post, and it could have been 1-1, but thankfully it was not. The shot was dragged just a little bit wide. Seattle also was really trying to press us. They were really trying to get, high up the pitch on their defense, but we were really smart. We were really composed with the ball. We were passing the ball out of the back really, really well. And the times that they pressed us, and you're never going to beat a press every single time, but when the press does get to you, you need to clear the ball. And sometimes this happens in every league, and not only, Saturday, Sunday leagues, but also in the pros of, hey, I don't have a passing lane. So sometimes they turn the ball over, and then it's a goal. We were clearing the ball a few times, which led to less passing accuracy than we're normally. We had an 81% passing accuracy this game, which is not typical for us. We're usually in the very high 80s, but that is self-preservation. That is playing smart soccer. Great IQ by our team when we cleared the ball and we decided, hey, passing out the back is no longer viable right now. Clear the ball, reset the defense, and go forward. That shows you a high IQ, and I loved seeing that, even though I obviously want to keep possession. And we almost had a scary moment in the 18th minute. Seattle defender Reagan passes the ball straight down the middle, which was, kind of a problem in preseason. It looks like we fixed it, but a little bit of problem in preseason. Pass it right down the middle. An attacker for Seattle would have been one-on-one with CJ Dos Santos, our goalkeeper, but Patty McNair literally gets a last-second slide tackle in to tackle the ball off the attacker, and then the ball goes out of bounds off the attacker. Our ball. McVeigh and McNair are absolute beasts. Way to recover, because they missed a runner. But hey, how do you recover? You're not going to be perfect. Can you make a play, a winning play as well? And then in the 41st minute, Chucky and Negri link up on the left, and then Chucky gets the ball and drives towards the center circle on the field, dribbles it to the center circle, and then he sees Dreer just bombing bombing full sprint down the right. Chucky with the perfect pass in stride, gets it to Dreer. Dreer drives it up a little bit further on the right wing, and then he picks out a trailing Godoy. Nobody on the defense saw him. Dreer saw him, picked out a pass, and then Godoy slots it home, bottom right, 2-0, and our wingers made these plays happen. The wingers got this all started, and they both have an assist. Chucky with an assist, Dreer with an assist. But we ain't done, because Chucky wants more than an assist to his name, as he should. Loffelson, much credit, intercepts a pass, gives the ball up, and he just starts booking it. This dude goes into a full sprint once he lets the ball go, and he gets higher up the field. He gets the ball back on a full sprint, and then he takes a few touches before he looks up, and right before a Seattle defender tries to close him down, Loffelson has a really deft pass to Chucky, who is getting in behind a defender, and the defender does not track Chucky. So Chucky is one-on-one with the keeper. And you know what? I'm going to place my bet on Chucky every time in that situation. And Chucky puts it away. Money in the bank. 3-0 SDFC in first half stoppage time. There were not too many great things that happened in the second half. You can tell that we were really just trying to see this game out. We did not have any shots on target in the second half. And we gave up even a bit more possession to Seattle, which is, again, expected. You're up 3-0. Seattle has to press. Seattle has to give a little bit extra. And I really do think we were just trying to see this one out. But I will say, usually in the second half, we don't look as good as we do in the first half. Think of the LAFC game. In the LAFC game, they had 10 men for the majority of the second half, and we didn't look all that great. We didn't get a goal. We didn't put one more up on the scoreboard. Also, LAFC with 10 men, they were pressing us. They were getting a lot of shots on target, against us. And, I think, again, we were trying to see that game out. But that's kind of a little bit of a pattern I've seen, just us really hitting, the gas really strongly in the first half, and then sometimes taking the foot off the gas in the second half. So, I want to monitor that. That's something that I've been just kind of noticing, the little nuances of the game. But also, if we weren't maybe playing great in the second half, we've been playing dominant soccer in the first half. Think of our last two games. In the first half, we've scored a total of 6 goals. That is absolutely nuts. You usually, and we have, will win those games. So big shout out to the squad for doing their work early. But I do have some squad notes. There's a substitution pattern taking place. Again, I really do think Loffelson and Negri are going to be our starters for the long haul. I think that is being settled by Mike Geo. Willie came in for Loffelson and Diop for Negri. That's what happened last game. So that pattern is working in there. I know, one of my viewers, Chris, really wants to see Diop play more. So I want to see Diop play more, because I haven't seen, Diop play all too much. I don't think he's going to be in a starter position, because I think Mike Geo is settling on Negri and Loffelson. So we'll have to, keep up with that. But also Mighton went in for Chucky. Absolutely love to see that, because he got picked over the other subs that we have on the bench for the left side. I love seeing Mighton play. I think he's a dangerous player, but obviously you have to start Chucky. But I love seeing Mighton as his backup if that continues to go forward. Alvarado went in for Luca. I think that's more for preservation, keep Luca fresh. And Angel for Dreer on the right side. I haven't seen Angel play on the right side. So it's very interesting. Angel has played on the left, he's played in the middle, and he's played on the right. So he's taken up all 3 positions on our front line. So it's going to be interesting to follow him and what his role is on this team. Is he going to be like the plug and play guy, just in case maybe Avalicati can't play? Hey, Angel. Dreer can't play. Hey, Angel goes on the right. Maybe Mighton or Chucky can't play. Hey, Angel goes on the left. So really interesting to see how he's going to be kind of moving forward on our squad. But also, not too brand new news, but it is news this past week. Milan Iloski, who is from Escondido, hometown boy, is coming to our squad. He just got signed. He's an attacker, and I really think this was very strategic. Not only that he's from San Diego, because they've been actually trying to take players from San Diego, so that's awesome to see. But also he's a center forward, and Ingvardsson should be out for a couple months at least, maybe even more. So he provides just a little bit additional depth in the traditional center forward position, which Valakati has kind of taken up. And I love seeing Valakati there, even though Valakati is not a traditional center forward. Also, y'all know I've been talking about Loffelson. I do think he's one of the weaker links on our team, but to say that, I mean, I think our team is just absolutely dominant in a lot of positions. So that's no, massive knock on Loffelson, but he has made some mistakes, and other teams have chosen that side to pick on us, but he actually got subbed off early in the second half, and it looked like a back injury. I hope, and I don't think it's serious, but I hope it's kind of like what happened to McNair. McNair had a back injury, and then he was back the next week. So I hope that's the case for Loffelson, because I will say Loffelson has been growing on me. I do think he lacks a little bit of defensive awareness more than like defensive skill, but he puts himself kind of in bad positions, or he reads runners late, or he just kind of loses track of his positionality on the field. But his offensive positioning is really good. And when he gets the ball to his feet, he is solid. So I think he is going to be our right side starter. I think he's improving on the defensive end, because he doesn't look as bad as kind of the first couple weeks that we were playing day one, match day two. Those games, you can see him on tape. Yeah, he had maybe a couple mistakes, but he still looked really, really solid against Seattle. And Seattle, on Seattle's left side, that's where their two best players were. And even though, yes, that's where they look best, again, that's where their two best players are. Nothing came of it, even though there was one or two mistakes by Loffelson. So I think on the offensive end, he is a player that we like because of his positioning, the way people can outlet pass to him, and he's good on his feet, and he's pretty quick. So I think he's going to be the right side starter. So big shout out to Loffelson, because he did look a lot better today. He obviously got the assist and bombed down the wing, which I absolutely love seeing. So hopefully he comes back soon. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But next week we have an away game versus the Colorado Rapids. The Rapid sit in 7th position in the West. And thanks to an Austin FC tie versus the Timbers, we sit in 2nd after our win. So we're 2nd in the West, only behind Vancouver. I'm really, really looking forward to doing the pre-match analysis for Colorado, because they're a team that presses high up the pitch, which is something we like, because we want space in the back, but they press hard. They're not going to be like Seattle. Seattle was like an in-between soft and hard press. Colorado likes to press. So let's see how much composure we have on the ball. I also just want to see, how tough that press is. Are there holes in that press? Who are the players that are going to be needed to win that game? I can't wait to break down the Colorado Rapids versus San Diego FC game. I'll do it all here on the Penalty Kick Podcast. I'm the host, Mike Geo, and I hope y'all have a happy, sunny San Diego Sunday. I'll catch y'all on the next one.